The arrival of the Xalfori fleet. The vast emptiness of space shimmered as reality itself seemed to tear open. Through these wounds in the fabric of spacetime emerged the Xalfori Armada -8,500 warships strong, their obsidian hulls absorbing the light of Sol rather than reflecting it. Each vessel was shaped like a blade, designed not only for space travel but as a psychological weapon. When the citizens of yet another doomed world looked up to see these knife-shaped silhouettes darkening their skies, fear was meant to do half the work of conquest. Supreme Commander Drek stood on the command bridge of the flagship Inevitable Dominion, his four arms crossed behind his back, as he studied the holographic representation of the small blue planet before him. His scaled skin shifted colors slightly, displaying the confidence he felt in wavelengths only his species could fully appreciate. Primitive, he noted, mandibles clicking softly. Their technological development suggests nuclear capabilities and rudimentary space exploration, but nothing that could possibly threaten this fleet. His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Thrix, bowed slightly. Supreme Commander, preliminary scans confirm. Their most advanced weapons are nuclear missiles with limited range. Their space presence consists of a small orbiting habitat and several communication satellites. Conquest probability stands at 99.7%. Drek's scales rippled with amusement. Only 99.7%. What accounts for the uncertainty? Standard margin of error. Supreme Commander. The humans have a reputation for unpredictability, according to cultural assessment teams. However, they are hopelessly outmatched. The Xalfori Empire had conquered 37 worlds in the last cycle alone. Their strategy never varied because it never needed to. Arrive with overwhelming force, demonstrate unstoppable power, and accept surrender. Most species capitulated after witnessing the destruction of a single city. The more stubborn ones might lose several population centers before the inevitable surrender. None had ever lasted more than 3 planetary rotations. Initiate standard intimidation protocol. Drek ordered. Target their largest satellite and destroy it. Something they'll be able to see from the surface. The weapons officer acknowledged the command with a formal salute, right upper arm across chest, lower arms extended. Targeting their lunar body, Supreme Commander. Energy built within the primary cannon of the Inevitable Dominion, drawing power from its antimatter core. The air on the bridge crackled with the residual energy as the weapon prepared to fire. A brilliant emerald beam lanced out toward Earth's moon, carving through the void like a scalpel. The beam never reached its target. Approximately 380,000 kilometers from Earth, the energy simply vanished. Drek's color shifted to a confused orange. Malfunction. No, Supreme Commander, the weapons officer replied, their voice tinged with confusion. All systems functioning normally. The beam, it simply disappeared. Before Drek could process this anomaly, urgent reports flooded in from across the fleet. Weapons systems failing. Navigation systems compromised. Most disturbing of all, 12 ships at the Armada's perimeter had simply vanished from tactical displays. Impossible, Drek hissed. The Xalfori fleet was the most advanced military force in 13 star systems. Their technology was centuries beyond what these humans should possess. A transmission request pinged on the central console. External source, reported the communications officer. From Earth. Accept, Drek commanded, his scales now shifting to a wary purple. A human appeared on screen. Female, middle-aged by their standards, with dark skin and silver-streaked hair pulled back severely. Her eyes showed neither fear nor awe, merely calm assessment. This is General Amara Chen of Earth's Unified Defense Council, she stated. Your weapons and propulsion systems have been neutralized. This is your only warning. Depart immediately or be destroyed. Drek's 4 eyes narrowed. You have no technology capable of threatening this fleet. Surrender now, and your species will be permitted to continue existing under Xalfori guidance. General Chen's expression remained unchanged. You misunderstand, Commander. We're not threatening you with conventional weapons. On the tactical display, another ship vanished. Then 3 more. Then dozens. What is happening? Drek demanded, all 4 arms gripping his command station as his scales flash alarming patterns of red and black. We learned long ago that broadcasting our technological capabilities across the cosmos was unwise. Chen explained calmly. What appears to be a primitive civilization is merely what we allow to be seen. 500 ships gone now. The fleet's communication network flooded with panic and desperate requests for instruction. The barrier your weapons encountered is Earth's defensive shell, she continued. It's been analyzing your technology since you entered the solar system. Each ship that disappears provides more data for our systems. Quite efficient, really. Drek felt something unfamiliar crawling through his spine. Fear. What? What are you doing to my ships? Disassembling them, Chen replied matter-of-factly. Our nanite cloud converts matter to energy. We'll use it to power our cities for approximately 5 years. Sustainable, wouldn't you agree? 2,000 ships gone. 3,000. The remaining vessel commanders began breaking formation, attempting to flee. I would recommend you personally leave immediately, Commander, Chen continued. We're allowing your flagship and 50 vessels to depart as witnesses. The Xalfori Empire should understand that Earth is not a viable conquest target. On the tactical display, only scattered green dots remained among thousands of red ones. Drek had never ordered a retreat in his 207 cycles of military service. This is impossible, he managed. Yet happening nonetheless, Chen replied. You have 6 minutes before the nanite cloud reaches your position. Humanity wishes you safe travels, Commander. The transmission ended. Drek stared at the empty screen, then at the rapidly diminishing fleet display. Retreat, he whispered, then louder. Retreat. As the inevitable Dominion accelerated away from Earth, Drek watched the impossible unfold through rear-viewing arrays. Where 8,500 warships had once positioned for conquest, only scattered fragments remained, dissolving like sugar in water. The ships that managed to escape initiated emergency jump protocols, tearing new holes in reality to flee the human system. 13 star systems away, the Xalfori High Command would receive his report. An armada destroyed without firing a shot. A seemingly primitive world with technology beyond comprehension. And a new designation in the galactic database. Earth. Approach with extreme caution. Inside Earth's Unified Defense Council headquarters, deep beneath the Himalayas, General Chen watched the Xalfori retreat on multiple display screens. They're gone, reported her aide, Colonel Nakamura. 53 ships escaped, including what appears to be their command vessel. Chen nodded. Perfect. Exactly as calculated. Should we have let any of them go? Asked Secretary General Okonkwo, his deep voice echoing slightly in the cavernous control room. Of course, Chen replied. We need the galaxy to know what happens when Earth is threatened. Fear is our best defense. Around the table, the other members of the Defense Council, 12 individuals representing each of Earth's unified regions, nodded in agreement. They had lived through the First Contact War 30 years earlier. They had learned the hard way that the galaxy was not a friendly place. What about the nanite cloud? Humanity's hidden strength. The inevitable Dominion limped through hyperspace, trailing energy signatures like blood and water. Of the 53 ships that had escaped Earth's devastation, only 38 remained. The others had succumbed to the nanite contamination they'd unwittingly carried with them, their crews watching in horror as their vessels dissolved around them. Supreme Commander Drek's scales had settled into a sickly gray-green color, the Xalfori equivalent of shock. He had not moved from the command chair for 6 planetary rotations, watching the tactical displays as his once mighty armada dwindled further. Supreme Commander, Sub-Commander Thrix approached cautiously. We've completed the analysis of the Earth defensive system. Drek's 4 eyes focused slowly on his second-in-command, and it's unlike anything in our records, Thrix admitted. The nanites appear to be semi-organic in nature, with artificial intelligence capabilities beyond our computing systems. They communicate faster than light, sharing information and adapting to countermeasures instantaneously. How? Drek's voice was hollow. Their planet showed all the signs of a level 3 civilization. They should have been centuries away from such technology. There's more, Supreme Commander, Thrix continued, her scales shifting to a reluctant blue. We've been analyzing their communications. After the encounter, there was a surge in transmissions from what appears to be their governing body, this Unified Defense Council. We managed to intercept and decode a portion. Thrix inserted a data crystal into the console beside Drek's chair. A holographic projection appeared, fragmented messages between human military commanders. Successful test of the nanite defense system. High Command will be pleased with the effectiveness. Better results than the Arcturian incursion. Drek's head snapped up at the last fragment. The Arcturians? That's impossible. The Arcturian Collective had been one of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy, until they had mysteriously withdrawn from galactic affairs 3 cycles ago. The Xalthori Empire had assumed they had fallen victim to some internal conflict. There's more, Thrix said quietly. We found references to other species, the Korvaxi, the Methrid Sovereignty, even the Jalari. All powerful spacefaring civilizations, all of which had inexplicably reduced their presence in the galaxy over recent cycles. The terrible truth began to dawn on Drek. They've been hiding. All this time. It appears so, Supreme Commander. The evidence suggests that Earth has been selectively engaging and neutralizing expansionist powers. Their primitive appearance is deliberate, a facade to lure potential threats into underestimating them. Drek's scales shifted to the deep crimson of rage. 8,000 ships. 24 million Xalthori warriors, lost to these deceptive primates. There's one more thing, Thrix said. Something in their communications about the protocol. Before she could elaborate, the ship's sensors blared an urgent alert. The tactical officer's scales flashed with alarm. Supreme Commander, we have multiple objects approaching through hyperspace. Xalthori reinforcements, Drek asked, a flicker of hope in his voice. No, sir. Unknown configuration, but they're massive. Space tore open around the battered Xalthori fleet. From the hyperspace ruptures emerged 7 colossal vessels, each easily 20 times the size of the inevitable Dominion. Their design was unlike anything Drek had ever seen, smooth, almost organic curves, with no visible weapons or propulsion systems. They gleamed with an inner light that seemed to shift and pulse like something alive. Incoming transmission, reported the communications officer, their scales pale with fear. The main view screen activated without command. The same human female appeared, General Chen. Commander Drek, she greeted, as calmly as if they were continuing their previous conversation. I see you've lost more ships since our last meeting. Drek's forearms tensed. How are you here? We're 13 systems away from Earth. Chen smiled slightly. Did you think we wouldn't be able to track the nano-contamination? Every particle serves as a beacon. But that's not why I'm here. The tactical display showed the 7 massive ships surrounding what remained of the Xalthori fleet. We've been discussing your empire at the Council, Chen continued. Your species has conquered 37 worlds in the last galactic standard year alone. This is unacceptable. You have no authority, Drek began. We have the only authority that matters in this galaxy, Chen interrupted. The authority of superior strength. But we're not unreasonable. We're offering terms. Drek's scales shifted to disbelieving purple. Terms. The Xalthori Empire will immediately cease all conquest operations. You will withdraw from the 37 worlds you've subjugated this cycle and establish a reparations program for the damage you've caused. You will transition to a cooperative member of the galactic community. And if we refuse, Drek demanded, though he already suspected the answer. Chen's expression hardened. Then what happened to your armada at Earth will happen to every Sulfuri ship, colony, and eventually your homeworld itself. We have been containing expansionist powers for over a century, Commander. Your empire is not the first to face this choice, and it won't be the last. The truth of humanity's place in the galaxy crystallized in Drek's mind. They weren't just defending their world, they were enforcing their vision across the stars, hidden behind a mask of primitive development. You've done this before, he stated. The Arcturians, the Methrid, the Jilari, all chose wisely in the end, Chen confirmed. Some required more persuasion than others. The Arcturians, for instance, lost 3 colony worlds before accepting reality. What gives you the right? Drek's voice was barely a whisper. Necessity, Chen replied simply. When humanity first ventured beyond our system, we discovered a galaxy dominated by conquest and subjugation. We were nearly eradicated before we fully understood the rules of this cruel game. So we changed the rules. Her eyes hardened. We developed technologies in secret, presenting only our most primitive achievements to watching eyes. We allowed ourselves to appear vulnerable while building the means to end the cycle of conquest. On the tactical displays, data streamed in about the 7 human vessels. Their energy signatures were unlike anything Sulfuri science had ever recorded. If the nanite cloud had been terrifying, these ships were nightmare made manifest. You have 1 standard rotation to communicate our terms to your high command, Chen concluded. We'll remain here to receive their response. Choose wisely, Commander. For the sake of your species. The transmission ended. Drek stared at the empty screen, his 4 arms limp at his sides, his scales the ashen gray of complete defeat. Send the message to High Command, he ordered quietly. Include all sensor data and recordings. 13 star systems away, the Sulfuri High Command received the transmission with initial disbelief, then growing horror. Within hours, frantic diplomatic communications were being prepared. Within days, the withdrawal orders were issued to all conquest fleets across 37 subjugated worlds. The galaxy would never be the same. 1 standard year later, Supreme Commander Drek, now bearing the shameful title of Peace Envoy, stood before the Earth's Unified Defense Council in their Himalayan headquarters. The negotiations had been exhaustive, the concessions painful, but the alternative unthinkable. As he finalized the last of the Sulfuri Empire's agreements, he finally asked the question that had haunted him since that first encounter. Why maintain the deception? If you possess such power, why not simply reveal yourselves to the galaxy? General Chen, now joined by representatives from a dozen other species, former conquerors all, smiled thinly. Fear is a powerful motivator, Commander Drek, but it creates enemies, not allies. By maintaining our facade of vulnerability, we identify those who would prey upon the seemingly weak. Those who come in peace meet a peaceful, developing world eager for galactic friendship. Those who come for conquest. Her smile faded. They meet us. As Drek departed Earth for the final time, he looked down at the blue planet from his shuttle window. To casual observation, it still appeared primitive. Limited orbital structures, rudimentary defense systems, nothing to suggest the terrible power that lay beneath the surface. And that, he now understood, was exactly the point. In the darkness between stars, humanity stood watch, not conquering, not subjugating, but enforcing a piece of their own design. Hidden guardians of a galaxy that would never know the full extent of their power, or the lengths to which they would go to ensure that no species ever experienced what humanity had in those early, terrible days of first contact. The greatest predators, after all, rarely needed to bare their teeth. Their mere existence was enough, once their reputation was established. And humanity's reputation was now etched across the stars in the dispersed atoms of 8,000 Sulfuri warships, a warning to any who might follow in their wake. The galaxy would know peace, whether it wanted to or not.